People were making as high as $10,000 a week. It's very objective. A, B, C, D. Select order, apply, matching this. But very soon they're going to make it subjective, where you write theory and you and you'll be typing it.
You had to do it before. Your agency, do you give people study materials to pass the Nclex?
Yes, so we give you study materials to prepare and pass the Nclex. We help you with coaching, Ielts, English test, and all that. And when you pass the Nclex, we link you to recruiters. Not every state requires you to take IELTS. I live in New York State. On their website for New York Board of Nursing, they don't require English tests.
You said it before. Hey, stop that. Hi guys, so just like most of you have been asking, today I have here an overseas nurse. She's from Ghana, she's called Priscilla, and then she migrated to the United States and she's currently practicing as a nurse in the US, okay? So today she's going to share her process with us, okay? So for people that are thinking of migrating directly from Africa, Asia, or the Caribbean, or wherever, if you want to move to the US to practice as a nurse, she's going to simplify the process for us in this video. Hopefully we don't bore you with a long video. I hope you enjoy and then you pick something from it. Also, she has a YouTube channel. I'll leave a screenshot of the channel on the screen and I'll leave a link so that you can head over and then, you know, ask her all your questions concerning relocating to the US as a nurse, okay? So welcome to my channel, Priscilla. I'm so happy to have you here. Briefly introduce yourself if I didn't add anything, and then we'll just start.
I'm so glad to be on this channel. This is a much awaited something, so I'm glad we're doing this, and the whole of Ghana is waiting and has been waiting for this collaboration. So I'm glad to be here. My name is Priscilla Kuma. I come from Ghana. I schooled in the University of Ghana. I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, BSN. I live in New York State. I work in New York State as a registered nurse. And as you said, I have a YouTube channel. My channel name is Priscilla Kuma RN. And I also double as a lead consultant because I have a consult. Yes, we do. So if you want someone to hold your hand, and walk you through the process of how you work in the US, contact US RN Pathway Consult, and that is how it would help you through the paperwork. It's cumbersome, and we're going to get right into that very soon.
Wow. How long have you been in the US? And you have a consultant or agency already. How long?
I've been in the US for a little over 4 years.
Wow. Wow. You've done well. I wish to open my own agency one day. I'll come for tips, you know.
I know you will. I'm here for you. Trust me.
Okay. So let's say I'm a nurse in Africa or Asia or the Caribbean, and I want to move to the US. How do I start? What do I do? Where do I go to?
So unfortunately for most of us who schooled outside the US, before we can work in the US, we need to have our credentials evaluated. That is the first step. So you have to decide what state of US you want to work in. There are 50 states, and every state sounds like it's a country on its own because their rules are different. So before you decide what state you want to go to that state's board of nursing and see their requirements. If you chose New York State, for instance, you have to go to New York State's Board of Nursing. Just type that into Google. And when you go onto that website, you want to look for foreign educated nurse. The requirements for a foreign educated nurse or international nurse, but they normally use foreign. So when you go to that website, see whatever they are saying. Most of them will say that you need to have your credentials evaluated. Let me add that there are some states that don't have that requirement, but almost all of them use credential evaluation. California is one state that you don't have to do the evaluation, but they have their own process. Majority of them will say, have your education evaluated, your transcripts and all your nursing licenses and all that. So then they would mention which credential evaluation service they want you to use. The biggest one we've all heard, Cgfns. Commission for Graduate Foreign Nurses. Nanelle is going to link it in the description box below. Make sure you click. It takes you right to the website. And another one is ERES. She will link that as well. So the biggest one is Cgfns. So I'm going to be making a lot of reference to the Cgfns because that is what most people use. You want to go to their website and also look for requirements for foreign educated nurse. They would list all that you need to do. But the first thing is you have to create an account online. So create a Cgfns account online. Upload your profile, your name, email, and all that type of stuff. And then you pay $390. If you go onto the website, there are so many informations. Don't get confused. There's CVS, there's CES. You are doing CES, Credential Evaluation Service. That's what you are doing because you schooled outside the US. You pay $390 for CES. Then they release the forms to you. You cannot give that form to anybody because all your profile you created will be printed on the form before you even download the form. Your name will be inputted, your email and everything will be on it. So you can't even do photocopy or give it to anybody. So you take that form, you fill the applicant's column, you take one of the forms to where you had your nursing degree. If you went to the university for your nursing, you take one to them. If you went to the nurses training college like we do in Ghana, you take it to them. They would endorse one part. It's basically about your transcript, your clinical hours, and your theory hours. And they have a requirement you must meet. Then you take the other portion of the form to the Nursing and Midwife Council of your country. And ours is NMC Ghana. You take the second form over there. They will endorse it. You make some payments in your school, and you make some payments in your nursing board. They are not free. You have to pay for them. So when they all endorse this, they will send it back to Cgfns via a courier service, FedEx, DHL. You cannot hand deliver it. You cannot give the form to anybody boarding a plane coming to America. Your school has to put a seal on it directly from the school to Cgfns because they don't want you to tamper with your grades. So whilst all this is going on, that is the reason why you have the online account. You have to be monitoring where your documents have arrived at. The process is the stage by stage is going through. So when they receive it, they will let you know that they've received your document and they are working on it and it's in the processing phase. If you call Cgfns, you're going to be on the line for 3 hours and you end up speaking to an answering machine. So don't even waste your time calling Cgfns. You will spend the whole day and they tell you at the number 200 in line and it's not your turn yet. They have a place called Contact Us. If you want to ask any question, you go to Contact Us on their website and you type in the box and they'll get back to you after hours. If you need help, they have a virtual help. You pay $25 and they will come and they'll book an appointment with you and help you through the process. So let's say they have reviewed everything and your report is ready. They will send that report to the state you chose. So I use New York, for example. So they'll send a report to New York State. And I forgot to mention that you have to register with the states, whatever states, North Dakota, Ohio, you have to register with the State's Board of Nursing and pay some amounts between $140 to $200. So you also have an account with them. So when the report comes from Cgfns to the state, they will tell you they've also received your documents and they will look at the reports. It's either going to say two things. Your education is comparable or it meets the American standard, or your education does not meet American standard. If it doesn't meet the American standard, that means you cannot take the boards, the Nclex. If you're wondering what Nclex is a licensure for the U.S., a nurse to be able to work in the U.S. So let's say fast forward, they say your report is good. New York's board says your report is good. Then they give you something called ATT, Attestation to Test. That is the...
Let me see if I can remember what you have said. So you're saying that if I'm from Africa, Asia, or the Caribbean, and I want to become a nurse in America, first of all, I have to decide the states in which I want to work. So let's say my parents are in Virginia. Let's say I want to work in Virginia. So I'll go online for Virginia Board of Nursing. And then I'll look for, they have to evaluate my credentials in Ghana. Because I was trained in Ghana, they have to evaluate my credentials. So I'll look for which...
you look for foreign educated nurses requirement.
Foreign educated nurses requirements. And most of the time, they would ask me to do credential evaluation by another body. And it is either Cgfns or you mentioned another one. ERES. Depending on the states I want, then they will refer me to either Cgfns or the other one. So let's say you said most states require that you do your credential evaluation with Cgfns.
Yes.
And then you said that for California, they don't even need you to do your any credential evaluation, but that's a different process altogether. So let's say I go on the Cgfns website, which you give me a link to put in the description. So I go on there and then I fill the form. And then they will give me a printout to give to my nursing council in my country, one for where I schooled, so whether my nursing training or my university. So they'll also fill, and then they'll send it directly to the Cgfns in America. So when you do that, and then the Cgfns will also send it to the states in which I want to practice. And then they give me something called, so when they compare and they see that my education is at par with the US nursing education, then they'll give me something called ATT, which is Authorization to Test. Okay, now let's continue. Yeah.
Okay. So when the board gives you the ATT, Authorization to Test, you have 90 days to take the Nclex. That is equal to 3 months. And what you want to do, you want to go to another website. There's a lot of websites out today. So you go to Pearson VUE. Pearson VUE is the organization that make people take the board. So you register with them. You pay $200 when you're taking the board in the UK, or when you're taking it in the US, you pay $200. If you're taking it outside the US and you're taking it maybe South Africa, I think it's between $250 to $350. I'm not sure about that. But on their website, $200. There are some Nclex centers, but unfortunately in Africa, we only have one, and it's in South Africa. And if you are in Asia, you can go to India, you can go to Mexico, you can go to Philippines, and some other territories of the US. You can go to Guam, Puerto Rico, and take the Nclex. So when you pay for Pearson VUE, then there's a calendar that pops up. Then you choose the available dates that works for you. One quick tip, if you're trying to register, make sure it doesn't coincide with the time the nursing schools in America are graduating. You're not going to find a date. All the students want to take their boards right after school, so the dates are full. So make sure you align your things so that the students don't have graduation. As I'm speaking to you today, the students graduated not too long ago, about 2 to 3 weeks. So there will be dates way back in September, October, and you don't want that. So after you choose a date, the day arrives, you drive there. It's an in-person computer test. You go to a room, you are in a glass booth, you have a headphone, there's nobody talking to you, there's a computer, and you have to answer. And it's in the pipeline. Somewhere April 2023, the pattern of Nclex is going to change. Nclex is very objective. A, B, C, D. Select order, apply, match in this. But very soon they're going to make it subjective, where you write theory and you
and
you'll be typing.
You had to do it before. Jesus, when did you say? April 2023?
Yes.
So Jesus, I think I have to do it before.
Are you
want another option? Yes, I just want another option, just in case they sack me from the UK.
Do it before. Do it before. You'll be typing. If you're typing, it's like my own QT where you'll be stuck. So just going to be clicking yes, no, select order, apply. But typing the results comes in 48 hours. When you took it on Friday, you find out Monday. When you took it on Monday, by Wednesday morning, you find out. And there's also a little trick for you to check whether you passed if you cannot wait. For that 48 hours is very killing. So if you want to do it.
I think I know the trick. Let me see if I know. You can go online as if you are rebooking for another one. And if it declines your payments, that means you passed.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You got it. Yes. And there are two things also involved. You are either doing all this as an individual,
or you are
doing it through an agency. If you are doing this as an individual, it's very cumbersome. There comes in my consult, USRM Pathway Consult. We help you facilitate all that. We walk your hand, we hold you and walk you through the process literally. You just submit your forms to us and we take it to your school and all that stuff. And we get you to get where you want to get the Nclex.
How much do you charge?
It's very small, $300.
For the entire process?
For holding your hands, because our service charge $300. But if Cgfns is $390, you pay that yourself. And we don't even take your money. We just let you log in and use your credit card and do all that. But at the end of the day,
I'm really proud of you. You've done well.
Thank you. It's nice. I've not been sleeping. See my eyes.
I get the ATT. I sit for the Nclex. Your agency, do you give people study materials to pass the Nclex?
Yes. So we give you study materials to prepare and pass the Nclex. We help you with coaching, Ielts, English test, and all that. And when you pass the Nclex, we link you to recruiters. So when you're doing it as an individual, you do everything I just spoke about, then we link you to recruiters, or you will find your own recruiters if you are not working with us. You find your own recruiters. It takes a while if you want to find your own recruiters, but we know where to pass. We have the right links, okay? So if you're doing it through an agency, the big ones, Event, Grady Python, Adavia, Interstaff, they will do all this for you at a fee. And they all have pros and cons. You are going to be bonded to them at least 2 to 3 years when you enter America. And they'll be taking some money from your pay. Let's say if a staff of the hospital is taking $40, you might take something like $27. Yes. So they all have pros and cons. If you don't have the money out of pocket to pay for this process, then you want to use an agency, but it doesn't come free. And most recruiters and most agencies cover your family, your spouse, and your children. They do not pay the bill for them, but when they are filing for your American visa, they include their names. Everything that concerns them, their medicals, their plane tickets, you pay that by yourself. But they only pay for you, the individual. Some reimburse you for Nclex if you wrote it on your own. Some reimburse you even if they help you learn it. And then when you get to the US, you settle in and start working, and you finish the terms. Yes.
So your agency, how long do you bond the applicant for? Your agency?
So mine is not an agency, it's a consult. It's a processing consult.
Okay.
We only do all the paperwork for you and show you this is the states you have to choose. I think you mentioned before about if I decide to choose Virginia because my dad is in Virginia. You don't choose Virginia because your dad is in Virginia. You choose Virginia because it's favorable for your application.
Okay.
Minnesota is a state you don't want to use.
So I heard that at the moment there are about 35 states that have been compacted. So if you have a license from any of those 35 states, you can practice in the remaining 34 states. So it's like one license for 35 states. Can you briefly explain that as well?
Yes. It's very, very true. So what is a compact state? A compact state is a state whereby they belong to a certain NLC and you can move around working in the 34, as you rightly said. So currently, there's a very good news coming. There are about 13 other states that are about to join the compact state and make it 42 thereabout. Wow. Yes. So if you happen to choose Virginia, you can use Virginia. That doesn't necessarily mean you will live in Virginia. You can choose it, and after you're done with everything, you move to another state. Yes. But you don't choose it because my mom is there, my boyfriend is there. You choose it because...
Why do you keep saying it to hurt me? Okay, all right.
Yeah. People make a mistake and they're stuck. So you choose that state because it's favorable to a foreign educated nurse. Some are going to ask you for social security number and you live in Ghana. They're going to ask you for house address. You live in Tanzania. You don't have that. So you have to go for a state that doesn't require social security number. They don't require house address and all that. Then that is flexible. When you come in and luckily that state happens to be a compact state, you want to look at the compact state and choose one of them. Then you can move around.
Okay. Well noted. So how long does the process take, and how much do you think I should have on me if I want to do this process?
So how long depends on the individual, to be frank with you. As for the credential evaluation services, they move fast. As soon as you apply, you get your forms, you are good to go. The problem comes from...
Like how many days does the credential evaluation take? That first?
Ideally, by 3 months, you should have your report.
And you said it's fast. That's not fast. Okay.
America, everything here is so long. Trust me. By 3 months, you should have your report. The problem comes from our country where we come from. You take some form to your school, and the dean is nowhere to be found. I'm sorry, no shit to where we come from, but home is home. You take the forms to your nursing council, and they don't work on it early. But if everything moves fast, you should be able to get your documents in 3 months. And there again, USRM Party of Council, because we've been dealing with your schools and dealing with Nurses Council, we go in bulk and we know who to go to and get the work done. So when the Nursing Council says 3 weeks, we know how to get it done for you. So if you get your credential evaluation, the next thing you are waiting for is ATT. ATT can also take between, let's say, 2 months, maximum 8 weeks. But with workload and COVID and everything, the timeline has changed. So if you have ATT, you can take Nclex the day you see you have ATT. You can go on Pearson VU that very moment and choose a date. Provided you have a date that is tomorrow morning, you can take Nclex. But preparation to take the Nclex is the problem. I wouldn't lie to you. Nclex is very difficult. I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but Nclex is very analytical. You need to use your brain. All the answers are correct, but you have to choose the best answer and prioritize. All the answers are correct. And sometimes we call something SATA, select all that apply. All the answers are correct, but they want you to choose the 3 best correct ones. If you choose 2 and leave 1 out, you are doomed. If you choose 1 and leave 2 out, it's totally wrong. So if you are prepared and you write the Nclex today, in 48 hours, you'll be an USRN.
I honestly respect every person that has passed Nclex because there is CBT. I used like about just 3 or 4 weeks to learn CBT. CBT is easy. But Nclex
is hard. I don't like it.
Wow.
Nclex is very hard.
Once I get my ATT and I pass my Nclex, can I really just start applying for jobs in the US just like that?
Yes. So when you pass the Nclex, you have to apply for a job. Then when you pass the Nclex, you have a bargaining power. You have what they need. There are 2 types of agencies. One will take you through all the process I just talked about and bring it to America. The other agency, they are looking for those who have passed Nclex. They don't care where you passed, however you got the Nclex result, they don't care. They just want to know that you've passed the Nclex. So when you have the Nclex, you have a bargaining power. That's why I always advise those working with us that get the Nclex. And when 5 recruiters come, I'm offering you $10, $20, $50. Obviously, you take the one that is offering you a house and this and that. But if you are now begging, they are giving you study material and coaching you, they will present anything to you and your hands are tied and you can't do anything about it.
Wow. So, I know you have to write Ielts as well. What is the Ielts requirement and what type of Ielts?
Luckily, the Ielts requirement for US is 6.5, the total band. The breakdown, I can't remember right now, but the total is 6.5. So those who are not able to meet the UK requirement of 7, they trying to divert here. And luckily, another good news. Oh God, I'm giving all my tips away today. So they are trying to waive the English test for certain countries. There are 3 types of English tests that Cgfns has listed on their website. There's one called TOEFL. There's another one called TOEIC, TOEIC. It's not too popular. And there's Ielts that everybody knows about. They want you to use that. The only reason why you are taking Ielts for America is for something called visa screen certificate. Not every state requires you to take IELTS. I live in New York State. On their website for New York Board of Nursing, they don't require English test. There are so many states that don't require English test. So when you are in America and you are taking it, you are good to go. The only reason why you take IELTS is because of visa screen certificate. You are outside the US and they'll be using it to work on your immigration for you. And they are waiving it. In Africa, South Africans have it waived for them. Unfortunately, we in Nigeria and Ghana, we schooled in English. We can prove that our textbooks were in English. We speak very good English, but I don't know why they want us to take it. But luckily, Ghana government is working on how they can get that way for Ghanaians. So hopefully that happens someday. Yes. Wow. So the only reason you need it is for visa screen certificate. Wow.
So averagely, how long should one expect to go through the process? How averagely, and how much should I have averagely?
Okay. Averagely, for a very good student like Nanel, who has studied so much, 10 months, 11 months, you should be able to get this done.
10 months.
When I did mine, the whole thing took me close to 2 years because I didn't have any reference, no Ghanaian YouTuber, no Nigerian YouTuber, nobody to guide me. And my documents got missing and all. But now Cgfns is very good with their websites and everything. So it took me close to 2 years. And the second question, one good thing about the US process is that it is stage by stage. You don't need to sit down and save up to be able to start. When you start, I'm using New York State, you pay $143. You can register, pay $143 and go and sit somewhere until you're able to raise the next one. The next one is Cgfns, $390. You get that one, you take the forms to your school. When you go to your school says $1,000 or $200 or 200 pounds. You don't have the 200 pounds. You can go back home with your forms. You work whenever you can save 200 pounds. You go, your school signs. You go to nursing council, they say $100. You don't have $100, you save up. So you go, you pay as you go. You don't need to pay all at the time. If you're going to sponsor yourself to South Africa, let's say for taking the boards, registering with Pearson VU is like $350 because you're taking it in South Africa. But if you're doing it in the US, $200. And roughly, I spent $1,200. That's some years back, and I did it in the US. So you have to factor in your flight to South Africa or wherever you're going to take you, Puerto Rico or wherever. Yes. So it's pay as you go. So I can't give you a lump sum. Yes.
Those that use agencies, they actually get help with some of these things with the agencies.
Yes.
The agencies finance these things for them and then they pay later. So what do you think is the main challenge in the process?
The main challenge is the length. It's too lengthy. It's too cumbersome. And the paperwork. The paperwork will kill you. It's just too lengthy.
You're going to say the Nclex.
No. The Nclex is just the icing on top of the cake. You're almost at the end. The process is so cumbersome. It's so stressful. And you cannot make a little mistake as a spelling in your name. My last name is Kumas, they can see on the screen. And if I don't add an H, or those people who have, they've married and they've changed their names, you have to now have an affidavit or a gazette form to add to your documents and prove that you are the same person. The forms, the process is just cumbersome. The Nclex is hard. I've said that already, but the process to get to the Nclex, it's a lot.
Now let's talk about money. How much do you make as a nurse in New York?
If I don't get this question, I will not live. I know. So the factors that affect someone's salary, there are so many factors. First of all, where you live, the state that you live, the cost of living of that state. If you choose a state like California, New York City, where they pay well. If you're living in Beverly Hills, Hollywood, where they pay well, the cost of living, you get a small studio, a small room for $3,000. And they can pay you as high as $120 an hour. But all will go into your rent. And it depends on your priority as an individual, your goal in life. Are you young, funky? Do you want a city life? Do you want to see the celebrities walking in your backyard? If that's what you want, go to California. Yes. And if you want a nice compound with lawns and stuff, garden for your kids, you don't want a rush, you don't want to take a ferry in New York City to go to work and stuff, you want to live in the outskirts and where the cost of living is low. But averagely, before COVID, nurse was earning like $40 to $45 an hour, depending on where you live. And travel nursing happened, and that is where the money is. The money you see on the internet is travel nursing money. People were making as high as $10,000 a week.
Huh?
You heard me right.
No.
$10,000 a week. That was COVID price for travel nurses. Those travel nurses the same as agency nursing in UK, where you have a contract of 13 weeks. Then you travel to some place. The more miles you travel, the more your money is good. There's local travel and there's distant travel. Distant travel, you can go out of state. But you have to be, I think, 50 miles from where you live. The more travel you go, the more money they pay you. So when COVID happened, people traveled to New York City, where people were, the cases were higher.
What do you do? So I don't know if I can come for a loan. What do you do? Do you do travel testing? Oh, you do?
I know. I wish I did. So I'm just at one place. I'm a staff nurse.
So how much do you make as a staff nurse who's not doing travel nursing? You're stable in a particular hospital. How much do you make per week or per month if you decide not to do overtime?
So in the US, you can work all type of shifts. There are people that are hired solely for weekends. We call them weekend contracts. There are people solely for the night.
Mm-hmm.
There are some solely for evenings, some are day shifts and all that stuff. So I'm a staff nurse. I go to one facility 24/7. I don't move around. So I'm a staff nurse. I live in New York State. I live in a place called Upstate New York. It's out of New York. I'm very, very close to Canada. Upstate New York, I make between $32 to $35 an hour, which is not good at all. Don't let this money discourage you. People are in Rhode Island making about $40 to $45 an hour, and they are still at one place. So it all depends on all these factors.
So per week, what's your take home, or per month?
Most facilities pay bi-weekly, meaning every 2 weeks you are paid. So I'm paid bi-weekly. I'm paid twice a month. For every 2 weeks that I get a paycheck, it's between $3,000. So let's say in a month I make $6,000, and per annum, the whole year, I make between $71,000 to $75,000 a year.
Wow.
And when you do overtime, when you do weekends, you guys call it bank shift holidays and all. When you do bank shifts, you make so much money. Even though my regular is between 32 to 35 an hour, when I go on overtime, I don't make anything less than $55 an hour. Wow. So the overtime is where the money is. But you need to be very careful in doing overtime in America, because you're going to lose all in taxes. You pay all back in tax return, especially if you're not filing for anybody. You don't have 10 kids that you are catering for, or any dependent or any disabled child. You lose all in tax return. So you need to be smart about how you work your hours.
So what is nursing in the US like on a normal shift?
So I always say nursing in the US is very, very hard. It's extreme. Whatever you see in the books, when you're studying the Nclex, whatever you see happens in real life. Whatever you see happens in real life. And it was a big challenge for somebody like me who schooled outside the US. And trust me, let's say I'm a little bit above average students. I pick things very fast. And it was hard for me. Yes. So on the day you go, as soon as you walk into the unit, there's a board with your assignments on it. Back in Ghana, you go and you're all in the numbers working. No. You go and you see Priscilla, room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, Nana, room 5, room 6, room 7, room 8. Whatever concerns those 4 patients, or 5 or 6 or 7, has to do with me, nobody else. So as soon as you walk in, you see your assignment, you log into your computer. We use a software called Epic. You log in, you write whatever you have to write, all the patients, their details. Then you go and find the night nurse, if you're working morning, and take reports from the night nurse. You take reports, bedside report. And whilst you're taking the report, you're moving fast. If you have a patient that is going down for dialysis at 7 a.m., you have to get that going. So you just go take reports and you start. You start your medication sorting out and everything. Then ward round starts. You go to a room, a conference room, where there are all the team members, doctors, social worker, yes, every care coordinator, physiotherapist, physical therapy, they're all in the room. Then you present your patients one at a time. Wow. Yes, I shared this on my channel before. They should go and watch the video. It was like an hour video. So you present your patients. So you read room 1. Patient, I know this has been here 3 days, and this is what is a way forward. Then they will say, we're going to replace electrolytes. We're going to discharge him today. We are going to court because there's a guarantor, this and this and this. Then you do that. So if you can't speak in public, you would learn to speak in public, because the room is not less than 10 people sitting in that room. Wow. And you have an accent and you don't look like them. So you need to be on top of your game. Yeah. I need to come back and do part 2 of this video.
You have to.
Yeah. Present your patients. By the time you walk out of that conference room, there are about 50 orders that have been thrown into the patient's chat. Remove catheter, discharge patients, do this. So you have to be working on that. And you don't have one patient. I've worked in a place before when one nurse had 8 to 10 patients. And one patient in America is equal to 20 patients in Ghana. They are very demanding.
You have to come back. We have exceeded 35 minutes.
I have to.
You have to come back. How many hours is a normal shift?
12 hours.
12 hours. Just
yes.
like.
But you can do 8 hours if you want to. If you want to go there 5 days, you do 8 hours. Yes. So
your final words for people.
So I want to encourage everybody who wants to embark on this US RN journey. It's very worth it. You have a quality of life. You make the money. You lose some. And don't doubt the process. It's very real. Take your time and do it. Either you go to an agency or do it as an individual, or come and find me, US RN Pathway Consult. We'll hold your hands and walk you through the process. Don't be discouraged. and your family will come along, and it's totally worth it. It's long, expensive, but it's worth it. And go check out my YouTube channel, Priscilla Kuma RN. It's on the screen. Nanelle is going to tag it as well. So thank you very much for having me here.
I really enjoyed this. Send us a link to your website as well.
I will.
Yeah,
I will.
the RN pathway. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank